Ladies and gentlemen, hello and welcome to the channel. I'm Stylosa. We've got a load to cover in this video, but the first place I want to start is how to actually do these activate Termicide Tower missions. You see that big button to the right after I railgun that mob? You see that button there? All you need to do is land in the facility, go and press that button. It will activate 3 of the battery silos. Then what I recommend you do, especially if you're playing with randoms, is very quickly ping one of the silos. Hopefully everybody runs over to that silo, and now it is time to activate that silo and defend it. Now, there are some crucial things you need to know about this mission type, because it is really frustrating with randoms, because it really doesn't communicate what's going on. So firstly, you hit this button and it will start the event. What this does is causes Terminids to spawn, and they'll begin to attack the tower. Now, the tower itself has health that you can damage if you use explosive weapons around the tower. So if you're dropping 500-kilogram bombs on the tower, it will destabilize the tower. It will go back down to 0. You'll need to press the button again, which will restart all of this, and that is a massive annoyance. The other thing as well is if you press this button while there are still Terminids around, it will spawn even more Terminids and you will get swamped very quickly. So if you do fail, make sure that you kill all of the Terminids and then activate it again. Now, there are some very special effects that are happening here, because the Terminids, as soon as the tower is activated, will ignore all of your turrets and run straight to the tower. This means turrets are very effective. Things like the Tesla Tower can be super effective. The Gatling Cannon Tower, very effective. But all you're looking to do here is take out the Terminids as they congregate. It's not even a word. Congregate. I can't say it. Get together. I'm just going to say that. Around the tower. You basically need to kill them as fast as possible, because they will strip the tower down. Now, like I said, it is essential that you just do one tower at a time, especially with randoms, because if you start doing double towers, it can be a massive problem. So let's fast forward this. We failed the first time. We had to reactivate it again. And yeah, we're going to go forward now and hopefully finish this, as it's 95%. Well, we are going to finish it. So yeah, just remember, you've got to protect the silo. Don't do any high damage around the silo, so don't use explosive weaponry. Don't fire like auto cannons into it. Don't drop 500-kilogram bombs on it. Don't drop airstrikes on it, cluster bombs, orbital strikes, anything like that. Now, all you need to do is do each 3 of the towers, and if you're doing one at a time, just exactly how I've said, it's super easy. Honestly, even with randoms, the most difficult thing is actually just getting the randoms to go to one tower. Once that's done, you just head to extraction. There's a console. You start the console, which begins spraying the Termicide all over the planet, and then you just wait for extraction. That's it. That's the mission. It's actually really easy. If you're in a coordinated group, it's super easy. But with randoms, it's super hard, because what they tend to do is keep pressing the button. Don't do that, guys. Honestly, do not keep pressing the button as soon as it's a, if you fail the charge and think, oh, I'm just going to hit the button straight away. Don't do that. You'll get flooded with too many spawns. Try to do one tower at a time. And also, when you drop in on this mission, just drop straight in on the objective itself. There's no point dropping further away, and then just activate it and get on with it. So that's basically it, guys. As you can see, I died in this mission here, which is quite funny. As for weapons that you can use, things like the arc thrower are quite good, because I don't think that damages the tower, although don't quote me on that. But it seems to be quite effective at wiping out all of the lesser enemies around the tower. Yeah, so that's how you do it, guys. Awesome stuff. So this is a screenshot from what I believe is the Helldivers and Arrowhead Slack. Now, Slack's obviously a software that is used by companies and organizations. It's basically like Discord. It's just a chat kind of platform, and it's got video calls in it and all of that. Anyone who uses Slack will know it's that noise you get when you get pinged on Slack. It's not great. Anyway, it normally means that your boss wants a word with you, and that's not good. Anyway, this here, you got the CEO Johan drops in a link, and you can see the link here. It's the Reddit, and it says, so when are we getting our guard dog flamethrower? Now, Johan actually posted this picture on Reddit, and a dev responds with, oh god, we have to do this. And then somebody else responds with, haha, let's have a flame-throwing AI follower hovering just above and behind me, firing at will. What could go wrong? The friendly fire from these will be amazing. And then at the bottom, there's a disclaimer. Disclaimer, we have to do this is an Arrowhead way of agreeing that it's an exciting idea. It's not a commitment to include it in the game, but rather to prototype and test it out. Now, I think this is kind of interesting, right? Because obviously, there are certain games out there, Overwatch, that promise things and then don't deliver on them. And that is actually the worst thing ever. We say we're going to give you PvE. We're not actually going to give you PvE how we said we were going to give it you. But even lesser things, we're going to do this, and then we don't do this. It's not great, right? It's kind of bad communication. So it's interesting that this disclaimer has been added here. So don't expect this to come to the game anytime soon, but it's something they're looking at, something that they'll probably prototype. But honestly, the guard dog with a flamethrower, I can't. I mean, the guard dog with a laser kills me enough. So if I had a flamethrower, it'd be terrible. It'd just be killing everything. Although it would be funny as hell. So I don't know. I'm all for it. Let's do it. So this is an upcoming stratagem. It is the carpet bomb. This is going to be the source of many dead Helldivers. It's probably going to be the biggest cause of friendly fire deaths in the known galaxy. Watch the size of the area this affects. Look at this. It just falls out of space. Look at that. That is going to cause so much damage. Okay, we've got a bit of drama here. So this is about patch notes and patch notes not being complete. And actually, there are a bunch of what are known as stealth changes in the game. And they're not stealth, but they're not documented. So from the player's perspective, they are stealth. I'm sure the devs know what's happening with the game, but it's not actually being documented in the patch notes. This becomes a problem when the changes do change the way the game is played. So this post popped up, and it says, PSA to the devs, if you don't want false info like the steering lock being spread around, then don't make stealth changes and be more thorough in your patch notes. Now, this is in reference to a bit of discussion popping up about the actual Hellpod. So when you start a mission or you get called back as reinforcements, you can't actually land the Hellpods on difficult terrain or on top of buildings and things like that. It's sort of pushing you away. Is this a stealth change, and is this steering lock? Well, of course, the community is kind of just taking this as sort of fact and are running away with it, because there's another post which actually breaks down the stealth changes, and we'll get into that in a second. But yeah, this post goes on to say the whole situation is from a thread referencing all these stealth changes that were made in the recent patches, and it's pretty wild. There were quite a few stealth changes, such as armor penetration angles to the expendable, anti-tank and recoilless. However, the whole steering lock fiasco that you're currently witnessing was on that stealth change list too, and has not been confirmed by the devs. Needless to say, this whole thing could have been avoided if the devs were more thorough and kept the players up to date. So this again goes into that debate about good quality communication. You kind of need to put everything in the patch notes, to be honest. If you don't, and you miss things out, players will get frustrated. So this is the post in question. It says a compilation of stealth changes in patch 1.00100. Now, obviously, this was the previous patch. This post is from 4 days ago. But I still think this is worth looking at, because it says this. Stealth changes suck. They fail to properly inform players in a game that already has poor information quality, e.g. obscure systems, liberation, supply lines, armor penetration. The official patch notes for patch blah 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 can be found here. Below is a compilation of stealth changes either confirmed or reported / strongly suspected by a large number of users. Confirmed changes are either confirmed verbally by devs or tested in game. Okay, so let's just look at the confirmed changes. We won't look at the changes that are unconfirmed, but I do want to pick out some of those, because I think this is where people are getting really confused, and obviously I think it's confusing me as well. Anyway, let's move on. So confirmed stealth changes. The SG8 Slugger increased total ammo capacity. The FAF-14 Spear lootable ammo boxes now recover ammo for the weapon, which is quite a big change. You know, that probably should have been documented. The Liberator Explosive, now rebranded as the Liberator Concussive. Users report that it now has a faster firing rate and increased enemy knockback, so basically a complete change to that weapon. The Eat and the Recoilless Rifle no longer have deflection angles, where they would only deal 50% damage versus charges. Then that got subsequently confirmed by the devs, and this is why they're so powerful now, just blowing charges away with one headshot. And they're really strong against Bile Titans as well, especially the Eat rockets. I'm just going to call them Eat rockets. I cannot be bothered to say expendable anti-tank every time I read it. It's really good as well, guys. There's probably footage of this in the background of this video running of me using that, because it's really sick. Such a good stratagem. It's on such like a short cooldown. I think it's 1 minute. Anyway, jump pack, shorter cooldown and long duration. Further, your character would now leap into a boost, allowing momentum to be maintained. Trailblazer Scout no longer increase speed and stamina regen and reduce armor. Dynamo Helmets no longer increase armor and reduce speed and stamina regen. Armor value fix. The official patch notes state that fixed armor rating values not reducing damage as intended, which gives the impression that armor values did not reduce damage pre-patch. However, through testing, it was identified that pre-patch all armor essentially had an armor value of 100. So the fix from the patch essentially nerfed the effectiveness of light armor, less damage resistance than pre-patch, while medium armor is unaffected. You see what I mean? That's like an example of communication that doesn't really make sense, because you read that first in the patch notes, and I think I even said this in the video and I covered it, going like, oh yeah, armor's been fixed, it should work now. But actually what it meant is armor that you might have been using has become weaker. They need to be more clear in how they communicate. Enemy aggro range increase. So pre-patch testing showed that aggro range within an enemy's line of sight was 45 meters 35 meters, and 20 meters for standing, crouching and crawling respectively. I tested post-patch and it appears that those values have all been bumped up by exactly 5 meters, i.e. you can now aggro an enemy by sight from 50 meters, 40 meters, and 25 meters away for standing, crouching, and crawling. And the Seif smoke artillery shell, now reskinned into a grey APF-SDS shell similar to the napalm and static field. Previously, the smoke shell looked identical to the mini nuke. Miscellaneous changes with no impact on gameplay, significantly faster mission completion screens, changes in lobby mission completion animations, maximum number of mission stars, scale with difficulty. Intro video now needs to be skipped by holding down escape. So yeah, I think this all leans into that thing about communication. You need to tell the players what is changing in the game. Now, I'm going to sort of err on the side of, yeah, the Helldivers team have literally been hit by a hell bomb in this massive community, just appearing like, you know, in a couple of weeks around their game. And I think they're just trying to adapt to this sort of world, right? They need to make sure things are working. They've got obviously priorities. And then, yeah, things like the patch notes are probably a little bit further down that list. But I hope as time goes on, they just get better at writing patch notes and they're more detailed and more complete. So let's move on to these suspected stealth changes. And these may not be accurate. There's a link to all of this in the video description as well, guys. We're only going to look at one here because I don't want to look at a ton because we'll just be here forever. And like these are not confirmed and it might just be spreading hearsay rumors and we don't want to do that. So it's this. This is the Hellpod steering lock. The game now prevents Hellpods from being steered onto high ground. Safe spot when reinforced by teammate. Think invisible walls for your Hellpod. Question is though, is this actually happening? We don't know. It does feel like something's happened to the Hellpods, if I'm totally honest, because when you're dropping down, you kind of can't go around certain areas, especially on the Termicide maps with a big Termicide facility, the tower. Like, you can't really get anywhere near that. And yeah, I don't know. Has something changed? Is it just all in our minds? Who knows? But if it is confirmed by developers in the patch notes, then there would be no room for error. So let's talk about some positives when it comes to the community. This is an article on a gaming website. This is sick, because this is exactly the sort of thing you need to have happen around your game to make the game sort of become established, right? It thrusts the game out into the limelight, at least in my opinion. So we covered this in a recent video, but I'll just go over it again. So Helldivers 2 players share video of a new flying bug enemy, and Arrowhead boss immediately declares them bug sympathizers and insists bugs can't fly. And then they say Super Earth has a new problem. Of course, this is in reference to the tweet that Johan made. And all this is awesome because, like, it makes you feel connected to the game. It's good quality communication. It's not PR washed crap communication. We love this kind of thing, and I just think this is great for the game because more of it will happen. There's been a new update today for the Galactic War, although it's kind of just like a news update saying, hey, the Termicide probably works. Go and activate the towers and everybody will be fine. So there's not too much info in it, but it's cool that it's a thing and that it's there because, again, it makes you feel like you're connected to this game. So there you go, ladies and gentlemen. Thanks for watching the video. If you enjoy this content, then do like the video, subscribe to the channel, and leave a comment. We are currently carrying on with the campaign to activate the TCS on all of these barrier planets. I'm sure nothing will go wrong. I'm sure nothing will go wrong. All right, guys, thanks for watching, and I'll catch you on the next one. See you soon.